Tobias Smollett's The Adventures of Roderick Random is a classic picaresque novel. A picaresque is a genre of fiction that follows a roguish hero of low social class, relying on their wits to survive a corrupt society. In this case, our protagonist is a disinherited Scottish gentleman fighting through the absolute bottom of 18th-century social strata. Roderick's mother dies shortly after his birth, and his father vanishes mysteriously, leaving him an orphan. Instead of taking him in, his wealthy, tyrannical grandfather cuts him out of the will entirely, leaving the boy to fend for himself. He survives his early years by leaning on a few loyal allies, like his seafaring uncle Tom Bowling and his devoted schoolmate Hugh Strap. With their meager help, Roderick secures an apprenticeship and begins training in the medical trade as an apothecary. This chart tracks Roderick's net worth over time. When he flees to London to seek his fortune, the line plummets to zero. In the city's criminal underbelly, his aristocratic education means nothing, and he is repeatedly robbed, cheated, and left completely destitute. These early traumas strip away his youthful naivete. Roderick realizes society is entirely predatory, and his life's mission becomes clear. He must claw his way back up the social ladder, exact revenge on the elites who discarded him, and reclaim the aristocratic status he believes is rightfully his. Roderick fails to secure a legitimate medical warrant in London. Instead, he is press-ganged, kidnapped and violently forced into involuntary military service, and dragged aboard the British warship HMS Thunder. Serving as a surgeon's mate, he endures horrific institutional abuse. He suffers under the brutal tyranny of Captain Oakum, forcing violently ill men back to work, and later under the eccentric cruelty of Captain Whiffle, who prioritizes his own lavish wardrobe over the crew's survival. This graph illustrates Roderick's total financial ruin. The line flatlines at zero for months as he barely survives rampant shipboard disease, arbitrary floggings, and finally a devastating shipwreck off the Sussex coast that washes him ashore with absolutely nothing. Smollett uses this naval sequence to relentlessly mock the supposedly glorious British military. He reveals the institution as a corrupt meat grinder designed to punish the underclass and protect the incompetence of those in command. A local woman, Mrs. Sagely, rescues him from the beach. Soon he meets the aristocratic Narcissa. Realizing his poverty disqualifies him as a suitor, Roderick begins a new survival strategy, posing as a wealthy, well-traveled gentleman to win her affection. He takes his performance to the elite society of Bath. For a brief window, the deception works. He rescues a wealthy heiress, elevates his social standing, and even wins a bloody duel against rival suitor Lord Quiverwit. But his facade requires constant cash flow. At the gambling tables, his luck evaporates. He loses every remaining shilling he owns, and is forced to flee the city in the dead of night to escape his creditors. Cleverness alone cannot break a rigid class system. Without true capital to back his performance, his individual wits and deceptive tactics are ultimately insufficient. Out of options in England, Roderick secures a post on a trading vessel and sails for the Americas, hoping to rebuild his non-existent fortune through colonial commerce. This line graph demonstrates the final, unexpected reversal in Roderick's fortune. After years of grinding poverty, the line spikes vertically. In a massive coincidence, Roderick reunites with his long-lost father, Don Rodrigo, who has secretly become a wealthy merchant. Armed with his father's vast wealth, Roderick sails back to England. This capital removes every social obstacle that previously blocked his path, allowing him to neutralize all opposition and finally marry Narcissa. He then travels north to Scotland to close the loop on his childhood trauma. He purchases his cruel grandfather's ancestral estate outright and ensures his fiercely loyal friend Strap is comfortably married off and settled on the property. The novel's resolution restores what Smollett views as the natural aristocratic order. Roderick survives the brutality of the 18th century through sheer endurance, but his ultimate success relies entirely on his noble blood and the eventual reclamation of inherited wealth.